Welcome to the deep dive. You're tuned in because, well, you want to get a solid handle on the Evergreen San Jose real estate market, right? And you want the real story.
Exactly. No fluff.
So today, we're taking a deep dive into the latest numbers thanks to Evergreen real estate expert Andy Vong.
Yeah, looking at the recent data.
Our mission, pretty simple. Cut through the noise, understand the key shifts over, say, the last year, and figure out what they actually mean for you. You know, if you own a home here, or maybe you're looking to buy.
That's the goal, to give you that clear picture of how this market's evolving.
Okay, let's jump right in then. One of the first things Andy's analysis highlights is this sale price to list price ratio.
Right.
And he mentions it's softening. Now, for folks not watching this stuff every single day, what's the bottom line? What does softening really mean here?
Okay, so think of it simply like this. That ratio. It compares the final sale price to the initial asking price. So softening means generally homes in Evergreen aren't selling for way over asking anymore. Not like we saw when the market was, really red hot.
Yeah.
It suggests things are maybe cooling off a bit from those intense bidding wars. Buyers might have a little more breathing room.
Interesting. So less of that extreme pressure, maybe. But then, here's the twist. Andy also points out that the average days on market, well, that's tightening. Homes are selling faster.
Yeah.
That feels, well, it feels a bit contradictory. Softer prices, but quicker sales. What's going on there?
That's a sharp observation. And yeah, it does seem counterintuitive at first.
Right.
But the tightening days on market, it could mean a couple of things. Maybe the buyers out there right now are really serious.
Okay.
They're ready to go. They see something they like, priced reasonably, and they pounce.
Less looky-loos.
Could be. It might also mean sellers are getting smarter, more strategic with their initial pricing.
Pricing it right from the start.
Exactly. Pricing it to attract those serious buyers quickly in this, let's say, adjusted market environment. Not just testing the waters with a super high number.
That makes sense. So what's causing these shifts? What are the driving factors behind this softening ratio but faster sales?
Well, according to Andy's analysis, it looks like a mix of things. Higher interest rates are definitely a big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, can't ignore those.
Right. They impact affordability, which can, cool down overall demand. He also brings up buyer fatigue.
Like burnout from the bidding wars.
Precisely. After that crazy period, some buyers might just be taking a step back, being more selective, maybe a bit worn out.
I can see that.
And then there's the usual suspect, seasonality. You often see a bit of a slowdown, plus maybe inventory levels are tighter right now. Fewer homes listed could also play a part.
Okay, so a combination of factors. Interest rates, buyer sentiment, inventory.
All likely contributing.
So then, if you're listening and you own a home in Evergreen right now, what should be top of mind? What's the takeaway?
For homeowners, I think the key takeaway is, well, you need a considered approach, a strategic approach.
Not just sticking a sign in the yard.
Probably not. The days of just listing high and expecting, a huge frenzy might be shifting. Andy actually raises some really good questions you should be asking yourself.
Like what?
Like, is now truly the right time for me to sell? Or should I maybe wait? What's my home really worth in today's market, not last year's?
Realistic value.
Exactly. And crucially, how do I attract the right kind of buyer in this specific shifting market? What's the best strategy?
Right. And it definitely sounds like getting some personalized advice, maybe talking to an expert who knows Evergreen specifically, is probably more important now than ever.
Absolutely. Understanding these nuances and how they apply to your specific property and your situation, that's essential right now.
Okay, so let's quickly recap. In Evergreen, we're seeing the sale price to list price ratio soften a bit, maybe a more balanced feel. But homes, if they're priced correctly, are still moving relatively fast. Quicker days on market.
Yep, that's the picture.
And this seems driven by higher interest rates, maybe some buyer fatigue or cautiousness, and those seasonal inventory dynamics.
You got it. And really understanding how those pieces fit together is vital if you're making any moves in Evergreen real estate soon.
It really makes you think, though, doesn't it? How these, hyper-local trends in Evergreen, how might they connect to the bigger economic picture in the Bay Area?
That's a great point.
Or maybe they tell us something unique about Evergreen itself, its desirability, its resilience as a community, something to chew on. Thanks for diving deep with us today.